Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we turn to talking about Keith Olbermann. Keith Olbermann is a very deranged, very washed up reporter who used to be something. He used to work for Sports Center and have a show on primetime TV, but he's basically been laughed out of every room he's entered. He's turned into this sort of crazy person who now makes videos on the internet that's kind of a step down for a professional like him. I mean, I enjoy this job. I have fun with it, but I do this out on my own. I'm having fun making videos at my home in my office, just kind of having a go at my own career. But this guy, he was trying to be this big reporter man who was on TV, and then he started making videos for these other websites. Previously, he went crazy and had this whole series on GQ. I believe it was during the last election when he went really deranged and off the rails talking about Trump. And now it seems like just in time for the new election, he's back again. He's coming out with some really crazy stuff. He's also wearing silly glasses like he did before. These glasses actually aren't as bad as his last ones. I saw a clip from him last week and he had these really weird frames on that kind of looked a little too stylish. Now he's got more regular ones on, but he kind of looks like he's trying to be Clark Kent or something with those glasses. Like he thinks he takes those off and he's Superman. And that's really fitting for this guy. He acts like he's some kind of hero while also attacking Trump as some kind of villain. It's pretty ridiculous. It's super messed up. And that's why I wanted to check out this video. It's called Worst Person in the World by Keith Olbermann. Trump's tired of COVID. I'm tired of him killing us. So this is already shaping up to be pretty interesting. This is like he's going down that road where he literally blames all the COVID deaths on Trump. Like Trump is going out there and killing people with his bare hands, which is far from true. Something we should debunk before we even get to the video. This is an absurd claim by leftists right now. They just try to blame everything on Trump. Obviously, even this kind of disease that spread across the country. And I think three things you have to keep in mind to remember to make yourself sane and have a good kind of idea about this. And first of all, this is not Trump's fault, obviously, but the first reason is because China spread this virus worldwide. They didn't warn people. They didn't lock down their travel. China is the one who spread the virus and sent that around the world. So if anyone should be blamed, it should be them in mishandling of it, and not just for the 200,000 deaths in America, all over the world. China definitely has some blame there. In addition, as back to America, we lost 200,000 people. That's very tragic and not cool, but it's not Trump's fault. He did the best he could. In fact, he matched what the CDC said would be a best case scenario. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, predicted that around 200,000 deaths would be a best case scenario for this virus. And that's where we're at. So we're at very close to a best case scenario. That was their prediction. That's where we're at. And that just goes to show that we're doing about as good as you can. This is a virus spreading across the country. It's this kind of natural, organic thing. People cough, people touch each other, people shake hands, hug, whatever it may be. It keeps spreading. And what is Trump supposed to do about that? What authority does he have on this kind of issue? Sure, he can help. Sure, he can hire some people. He started a task force. He got the experts out there. He gave recommendations, stuff like that. But the other thing to keep in mind is the president doesn't have all the power in the world like they pretend. He's not in charge of every single city in the country. He can't even make laws for specific states. The states have their own power, and really, Trump is only there to help if they ask for it. If they approve of help, he could send in things like FEMA or the more CDC people or even the National Guard, whatever it may be. Trump can send it in, but really, if a state's doing bad, it's more on their local politicians. So with that said, with that preface out of the way, let's go ahead and see what Keith has to say here. He's a bit out of his rocker. Let's go ahead and check it out.
In Texas, hospitalizations are up 35% in 20 days. The CDC today reported that this country has had 300,000 excess deaths this year, so the COVID death toll could be far higher than the official COVID number. And the First Lady, scheduled to accompany Trump to a campaign event Tuesday night, canceled at the last minute because 24 days later still has symptoms of the virus. We could be just a month, perhaps just days, away from the exact same kind of nightmarish healthcare scenes and draconian closures and even lockdowns that snuck up last March on the proactively stupid, the psychotically self-absorbed, and the criminally negligent murderers, on Donald Trump. But Trump...
Jeez, he's so dramatic, so over the top. He speaks in this really goofy kind of radio voice, and I just can't take him seriously. It's so ridiculous. The idea that all this falls on Trump's feet. I don't get it. I don't get what else they could have done. That's another thing. These kinds of leftists, they never explain what they would have done differently. They just say people died, it's Trump's fault, even though this was a natural thing coming in from a foreign adversary who didn't warn people. They're not blaming China China at all. They're not even mentioning China. In fact, if you call it the China virus, you're called racist. And if you blame it on them, that's offensive. But they'll happily blame it on Trump because they already don't like him. And really, they have no reasons why. They don't have any explanation. You really have to say, hey, what would you have done differently? What did Trump do that could have changed some of these deaths? Because like I said, we already are at the prediction of a best case scenario. We already know that the states are controlled by their governors, mayors, and local politicians. That's another thing that Keith mentioned here. He talked about the draconian lockdowns and all that stuff. Well, the lockdowns were done by the states. Each state decided their own lockdown. It's a case-by-case basis. So if you have a problem with the lockdowns, you have a problem with the Democratic governors that are likely the ones enforcing them, not Trump.
Trump is tired of COVID-19. 38 times per a report today by the intrepid Daniel Dale of CNN. He has said the disease is disappearing. Now he is trying to usurp pandemic fatigue as his campaign slogan for the closing 2 weeks. He thinks those of us who worry about COVID-19 and report on it and fight it are, and he is so desperate to change the subject that his henchmen tried to change all the topic for Thursday's debate, including the pandemic, to foreign policy.
Well, foreign policy is important. We already talked about the pandemic in the last debate. The pandemic is certainly overblown. I know the reporters love talking about it, but if you don't want to talk about it, if you're sick of it and you want to move on to other issues, that doesn't make you a bad person. It's not like we're not going to think about it. We could chew our gum and walk at the same time. We could talk about other things, but the truth is reporters just want to focus on this. They want to make it look as bad as possible. They want to overhype it. And that's the real hoax here. It's not like a hoax like, oh, it's not happening. We're not seeing anyone dying. It's all made up. It's like, no, it's over exaggerated. It's overinflated. It's overhyped by people like Keith O here, who talks like a crazy person, overhyping it like he's announcing a boxing match or something. He's totally off the rails, totally unhinged and TDS suffering. And that's the real issue here. I mean, even the death numbers, I'm not sure what numbers are coming from where, but the 200,000 could be smaller. What if it was smaller? What if a lot of those deaths were caused by other things? Like we've seen hospitals try and put COVID onto everything they can so they could get extra money from the government and stuff. It wouldn't be out of character for them to also attribute deaths from other things to COVID in order to get a sort of bonus, which is what basically happens. And in addition, yeah, Trump, I know I always have to defend the guy, but there's just always so many crazy attackers like this Keith thing. I mean, it's totally insane.
People are tired of hearing Fauci and all those idiots, he told his campaign staff yesterday in what was supposed to be a morale-building conference call, which instead turned out like watching the latest in the endless meme repurposing. Fauci is a disaster. If I listened to him, we'd have 500,000 deaths. Later, he upped that number to 700,000 or 800,000. Donald Trump, of course, is too stupid to realize that he may yet get that many, especially since he keeps insisting we have turned a corner on coronavirus. Yes, turned a corner and headed straight off another cliff.
Wow, this guy is so into himself. He loves the sound of his own voice, and it doesn't really sound good. He sounds fake. He sounds phony. He sounds like he's not talking like a real person, like he doesn't have a regular voice. He always talks like he's doing a turn on the course and going off the ledge again. Oh my God, everything's so scary. I'm Keith. I wear funny glasses. And the other thing, I mean, yeah, Trump isn't trying to write it off. He's just saying, hey, we talk about it every day for 6 months. Can we move on to something else? I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of hearing about COVID. It's not because we think it's cool or we're happy about it. No one's saying that. It's just, can we move on? Like, why are you so focused on it? Why do you care about death so much? Why do you want to make it so overhyped? Well, we know why. It's political. You're doing this for a political reason. We're doing this for perhaps just personal reasons, preferences, boredom, whatever you want to call it. But these guys just act like if you don't talk about COVID 24/7, you're an evil monster. And in addition, I would say we're taking a better outlook on things. I think Trump is being positive. He's trying to give people hope, trying to say, hey, we're going to do better. We're turning a corner. Things are going to be better around the corner. Whether it's true or not, I think we can definitely agree that things have gotten better over time. We're getting more accustomed to things. We're learning to keep ourselves clean and distanced and isolated when possible, when showing symptoms. We've learned how to combat this. We're fighting it the best we can. We're turning a corner in a lot of ways, but this guy doesn't want to admit it because we're 2 weeks out of the election and he doesn't want things to look like they're getting better because it'll make Trump look better, or at the very least, they won't be able to use this virus against him as much.
The University of Washington computer model still predicts at least another 150,000 dead by New Year's. It is a goddamn shame that Donald Trump cannot be indicted for every single one of them.
What? Oh my God. I really don't know. I don't know where to go here. I mean, why is it Trump's fault that someone died from a virus in Idaho? If someone dies in Chicago because they caught corona and they also happen to have heart disease, how is that Trump's fault? I don't follow the logic. Did Trump go and give the guy the disease? Did he cough on him? Did Trump tell him to go and hang out with people that were infected? It's like, no, the people doing that are not, honestly, Democrats. Like in New York, Governor Cuomo was sending old people infected into nursing homes and spreading the disease. That's an actual verifiable thing he did that caused people to die. Now with Trump, what's the cause? What did he do? I don't know. There's no explanation here. Keith just said he wants to indict Trump on every single person that died. He wants to give Trump 200,000 claims of murder on him, and it's just absolutely insane. China spread the virus. The CDC said this would be a best case scenario. President doesn't have control over state policy. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just totally insane. This guy is just off his rocker. I don't even know. I wonder if he even believes this crap, because it's just like, it just seems to me like he's just saying it. Like he just knows that, I don't know, he just thinks he could just get away with saying everything. He just makes crap up, and it's really, really creepy. It's kind of messed up.
Then it was back on the campaign trail with the psychotic in chief tonight in Erie, Pennsylvania, but not with the First Lady. We're turning a corner and it's vanishing magically, but 24 days after she contracted COVID-19 at that White House super spreader event, Trump's wife had to cancel her part in another one of his airport Bund rallies. She still has COVID cough, and Trump, he still has a delusion.
Super spreader, COVID cough. This guy is a real fearmonger. This is fearmongering at its worst. This is lying and reporters just making stuff up to the extreme. This election cycle has gone insane. I can't wait. God willing, we win. Please let Trump win so I could see these guys melt down again. And God forbid people buy this kind of baloney. That wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell for notifications. And until next time, have a great day.